Over the page now, and don't panic. My next guest joins us to help understand how to remain in control in times of a crisis. In 2006, Daniel Tolson was an Australian champion athlete. In 2007, his business collapsed. And in 2008, he worked as a traffic controller. Later in 2010, Daniel's fiancée, now wife, was involved in an accident on an aircraft in Dubai. She spent 2.5 years in surgery and rehabilitation, then lost her job and income stream. The story is an incredible one, and it's my pleasure to have Daniel with us today to talk about resilience. How are you, my friend?
Mate, I am better than what I was doing in the past.
To say the least, you're looking like you're a lot better than what that might have sounded like. So I guess, what are the 4 signs of a crisis? I understand you've pinpointed these sort of 4 main pillars that you'd like to break down for my audience today.
Well, there's 4 signs of a crisis. The first thing, the incident comes totally unexpected. And it's a little bit like the war in Ukraine at the moment. There was talk of war, there was threats of war, and now there's acts of war. So it's somewhat unexpected. Secondly, it's often dramatic. In my instance, it was my wife being involved in an aircraft accident. So there was drama, there was destruction. And even in the Ukraine right now, there's death. The third part of a crisis is it becomes very isolating. So if we thought about our family and friends in the Ukraine at the moment, there's children being separated from their mothers, fathers separated from their families, and grandparents are being abandoned. And fourthly, there's no coping mechanism in a crisis. And it feels like a form of terror, and nobody knows what to do next.
It's fascinating listening to you list those pillars there. I actually start to get anxious thinking about it, especially in relation to what we're seeing in Ukraine. I understand there's also 4 silent fears that are triggered as a result of these as well.
We can see this on TICKER at the moment. We can see the broadcast coming through. If we tie it back into the Ukraine incident, is that there's fears of being taken advantage of. And the Ukrainian people feel this with the invasion of Russia. Secondly, it's the fear of rejection. And the Ukrainian people are asking for a no-fly zone, and they keep getting a no. The third fear is a fear of losing stability. And we can see that with the Ukrainian people right now. They've lost their basic human needs. And fourthly, it's a fear of making a mistake. And the world right now is living in fear of making a mistake.
100%. Okay, so what about the 5 stages of grief, the grief cycle? We're obviously somewhat familiar with those. I feel like they're more well known. How do we navigate through the 5 stages of the grief cycle, Daniel?
To navigate through the grief cycle, we've got to have awareness of the 5 stages. Once we've got awareness, then we can start to manage it. So the first stage is denial. And if we think back to COVID-19, we were in shock, but we couldn't accept the reality. Stage 2 is anger. And now we can remember this in Australia when people are fighting over toilet paper. Stage 3 is blame. And if we recall the images of Donald Trump calling it the China virus, what he was doing, he was blaming somebody else. Stage 4 is depression. And that's when we start to experience and go down to that pit of despair. We start to experience loss of life, loss of income, and loss of opportunities. And the 5th stage, which is the most important stage, is it's getting acceptance. And with acceptance comes peace of mind. And once we've got peace of mind, then we can start to build back better.
Okay, so Daniel, you've outlined a lot of numbers for me just there in relation to all of this. And I wanted to ask, why is resilience necessary in times of a crisis, as you've unpacked?
Well, in times of a crisis, we have to keep moving forward. And we've got to start to dig a little bit deeper. And Australians are a great example of people who are resilient. And when we look at our money, when we look at our coins every single day, we see the Australian coat of arms. And on the left-hand side of the coat of arms, there's a kangaroo. And on the right-hand side, there's an emu. Now, the interesting fact about these 2 animals is it's almost impossible for these 2 animals to move backwards. So what that means is our coat of arms symbolises a nation moving forward. And the Australian people are perfect examples of being resilient. Through times of change, through times of conflict, in times of crisis, they just keep moving forward.
I think that's an incredible, I've never thought of it like that. I really like that. So I suppose the next thing I wanted to ask you just before we wrap up today, Daniel, is asking for help a sign of weakness? I know there's a lot of misconception out there around reaching out for help. You see it all the time.
Well, there was a book written a couple of thousand years ago, and it was called the Bible. Now, in Matthew chapter 7, it says, "Ask, and it will be given unto you." So, in my opinion, asking for help is not a weakness. Asking for help is a sign of strength, and strong people always ask for help.
Daniel, I want to thank you for helping us on today's episode and having a chat about your incredible insight. Thank you so much for sharing your story and jumping up with me today.